The man was sitting at home when he suddenly sensed the presence of strangers outside his estate. Being vigilant by nature, he slung a submachine gun over his shoulder and rushed out to check. Just as he stepped outside, the telephone in his room let out a series of urgent rings. When he got outside, however, all he found on his land was a scarecrow dressed in a suit. As confusion settled in, his eyes accidentally fell on a letter sticking out of the scarecrow's suit pocket. He picked it up and unfolded it, only to read a single line: "Watch the seeds under your feet." A chill ran down his spine. He lowered his head in horror and saw that he was standing right on the fuse of a landmine. Cold sweat broke out all over his body. He finally realized he had fallen into an enemy's trap, but he still mustered up the courage to try retreating along the same path. Before he could take a few steps, though, he spotted the fuse of a second landmine. Rage clouded his judgment, and he raised his fist, ready to smash it into the landmine. Just as he was on the verge of losing his senses, he heard his son's shout. His son was running toward him at full speed, eager to remind him to answer the phone. He immediately dropped his gun and sprinted toward his son, terrified that the child might wander into danger. Luckily, neither of them triggered the landmines. He caught his son safely, held him tightly in his arms, and carried him back to a secure area. Fighting back the fear lingering in his chest, he gently comforted his son. Then he lit a cigarette to calm his jittery nerves. Once his emotions had settled, he marched angrily toward the scarecrow, picked up the abandoned submachine gun from the ground, and pulled the trigger. Countless bullets poured out, tearing the scarecrow to shreds. But it still didn't seem enough to vent his anger. He continued firing at the ground below. The hidden landmines were hit one after another, and huge explosions erupted in succession. Dirt and gunpowder residue were thrown into the air, while the man stood right in the middle of the chaos. After all this, he calmly walked back from the field to his room, and picked up the long overdue call.